Hello, so I thought I would do another video update kind of thing. I'm not going to say it's like a podcast because I can't commit to doing one every week or every 2 weeks or whatever, so I think just whenever I feel like it, then I'll do a video. So I thought I would kind of speak about what I've been doing since I last did my video after Edinburgh, which was in the middle of March, and this is now 2nd of June, which is crazy. So there's been lots of people making their Croft House hats, which is very exciting. I think there's 100 and something projects on Ravelry, so that's really exciting and good. And we have you can buy a kit at Jimson Smith, or you can put together your own colours, and that's what a lot of people have been doing, which is really what I wanted. Even though I did the 4 colourways, what I really wanted was people to do their own thing and put together their own colours, so that's good. And what I have done since I last did my video was the Croft House yoke jumper that I was making. The one I showed in the video, which is the one I wore in Edinburgh, was, well, I really like it and I'm glad with like the way I put the colours together, but I could not get it photographed. No matter what I did, I just couldn't get it photographed. If you were close enough up to see that it was houses, then you couldn't see the rest, or you couldn't see the main colour, and if you could see the main colour, then you couldn't see it as houses, blah blah. But actually, like in person you can see it, but for some reason in photos I couldn't get it to come across. So I made another one, which I'm really glad I did, because I think it's actually my favourite colourway anyway. Which is this? So it's the brown colour is FC58 from Jimson Smith, and then the yoke is like 2 reds and then 2 oranges and then 2 yellows, so it kind of fades up towards your face. And I was so happy with how it came out. And I got the pattern finished, and you can buy it on Ravelry, and it's been selling really well, so I'm really happy. And yeah, so I'm actually pleased with how that came out. And then I also got patterns printed, like physical copies. So if you want to get that, well, we're going to have kits at Jimson Smith. So that was exciting. I was really glad how that came out. And then I've also been doing, well, I had an idea to try and do a Bairns version of the jumper. So I've done that, and I'm working on the pattern just now. And Bairns patterns are hard because you can't really, like, if you go for ages, then it's kind of difficult because different children are different sizes and different ages and blah blah blah. So I got, again, Kate Davis sent me measurements and stuff to try and help me with putting that together. So I think I've done it not too bad. I haven't actually put it on a child yet, but I'm pretty sure that it would. So this is the first one I did. Well, actually I did another one first, but that was really more just to test it out. But I loved, and this is the same 2 oranges that I used in the jumper, but on a different background. And then the main colour is FC34. This is jumper white as well. So any 4-ply pattern. And then I've also just done, which is drying over there, because somebody commented, I think on my blog, about the jumper. Oh, like, had I thought about doing a children's one? And I was like, well, yes, actually I have. And they said something about short sleeves, and I was like, yeah, that would be a good idea, because sometimes I know Bairns get really hot, and like maybe a long sleeve jumper isn't the best thing all the time, and then there's less chance to get dirty and blah blah. So, 1 second. So this is still, I finished it maybe 2 nights ago. I washed it last night and it was drying. I had it drying flat, but I just put it on the heater to kind of finish off. But that's how that came out, so I think that's really good as well. And then I put, because I kind of wondered about doing a cardigan, but I think that I might do that as well at some point, but I do like I think the jumper is more effect. But then for children's large heads, then I put buttons at the back. So this is steeked, so cast on extra stitches, and do them in a kind of stripy pattern, and all your colour changes in the middle. And then I wanted to, well, what I always have to do is machine steek, like to cut it open, because I can't crochet. I just can't do it. I've had so many people try and show me how to do it. Sandra that I work with tried to show me, and I just can't do it. So I think the crochet steek looks the best, but I can't do it, so I just always do a machine one. And then I just after I've done the, well, and then I always do the button bands. I pick up and knit the button bands before I cut it open, because I think, even though, I mean, especially with Shetland wool, it's not going to unravel, but I think it makes it easier for knowing where you want to cut. And then by doing that, you're cutting off all your ends. You've no ends to weave in for the Fair Isle bit, because if you do your colour changes in the middle, then they're in the middle and you just cut them off. That's great. So yeah, this one, the Purell one is for, this is the size for an age 3 or 4, I think, maybe a 4, age 4. And then this one I made a bit bigger, this is for an age 6. So yeah, that's the kind of next thing I'm doing at the moment. And it's been kind of better weather. It's horrible weather today, which is actually fine for when it's your day off, because then you don't feel like you have to be outside and doing stuff. But yeah, so that's my next thing, I'm working on the pattern for that. And so once I've kind of got all these things, like, you know, when you've got to do not got to do, because I'm choosing to do it, but it's like design work or like stuff you have to think about and you have to do it right and everything, then it's not that it's not fun, because it is fun when it goes right, but it's when it goes wrong, and then that's pain. So what I've been trying to do is plan out what I'm doing, what I'm wanting to knit next, and then it is getting warmer, kind of, so I'm not wanting to do like big things or anything. So what I started trying to do, or what I started the other night, was I want to start making socks, because I keep buying like really colourful yarn that I'm never going to use in, mostly because it's expensive, so I only ever buy like one hank at a time, and then you don't have enough for a jumper or anything, so what else can you make? And I'm not like really into shawls yet, but I do want to start, I want to try and make some shawls. Well, I have the hedgehog fibre stuff that I bought at Edinburgh, that bright pink stuff, which I think I found I want to do a Stephen West, the dotted rays pattern, so I'm going to try and do that. But also I bought from Hedgehog Fibres, because I don't know what, I just go through these phases and buy these, like when I was at Edinburgh there was so much of this kind of yarn, like lots of different places had it, and I just never registered to me or something, I don't know. And that, well, I don't know if it was like seeing it like pat in my head, and then I must have said, I think I signed up for the Hedgehog Fibres newsletter or something, and then like you get these emails and it's like, oh, update, and then sometimes that luckily, like I missed, they were having like they do the mini hanks every now and again, And they had this thing, I got a newsletter that they were going to do a mini membership club thing, which theirs is in euros because they're in Ireland, and I worked it out and I was like, okay, and it was quite expensive. And I was like, oh well, I'll try, and I think that was happening because they do their updates like different times so that it works in for like American people and people in the rest of the world and stuff. And it was like, the update was going to be like at midnight on a Friday night or something, and I was working on Saturday. We had a big cruise ship coming in. And I said to the girl I work with at Caris, I was like, well, if we remember on the Saturday morning, I'll have a look and see if you can still get any memberships. And I totally forgot because it was really busy. And then I remembered at like 12 or something, I was like, oh, will we look? And then it was sold out, which I think is actually a good thing because I don't need any more yarn. But before that, I had bought, in one of the updates, that was at a reasonable time, and I happened to remember, usually I don't remember, and I went on for a look, and a lot of stuff was already gone. There was quite a few like potluck things, which I think is what they do, like it's just random and they'll not do it again. There was a few of them that was really nice, but I didn't get them. But I did get this one, which is the twist sock, 100 grams, 365 meters, 80% Blueface Leicester, 20% nylon. This is, yeah, so this is the twist sock, which is kind of more for making socks anyway. It's quite a different feel than the other stuff I got, which is just a twist, I think. This is Boombox, and I think I just got, like, I am not a purple or pink person. Well, I'm okay, like neon pink I quite like, but as a general rule, purple I don't. But this has got like neon bits and black and grey and stuff, so I like that. And then I also got this, which is more my usual thing. This is typewriter, which is just greys. So that's kind of what put me on to my idea of making socks. And then one sock I have actually cast on was stuff I got from, no, I didn't get it from Edinburgh, but again, it was something I seen in Edinburgh, and it's a lady that I met in Shetland, I think it was last year or 2 years ago. She came on one of Gudrun Johnson and Mary Jane's tours, and she has a yarn shop in Paris. It's La Bien Amy, I think is the name of her yarn shop. So she does this yarn, and I managed to catch an update for this, which is like a grey with kind of neon-y bits in it, and I think it's Dragon Graffiti or something. I don't know, as soon as it came I just pulled it up. But so I have started a pair of socks. I just found there was actually one of the podcasts that I watch is Knitting in the City, and she had made a pair of socks with this, and she was like holding them up, and I was like, oh, that could be something I could do with that hedgehog fibre stuff. And then she was like, oh, and it's hedgehog fibres. I was like, good. Oh, and it's Boombox. I was like, perfect. So I used that pattern. It's got a slip stitch thing, but because I've never really done socks, I do understand the kind of the idea of it. But it's like they used to do it on tiny needles. But I bought, these are Knit Pro Zing. So I bought 2.75mm and 2.5, which is what I did the rib on, and then I think I also bought a pair of 3mm just to have. But I'm just gonna do, I'm not gonna do the slip stitch pattern. I'm just gonna do them plain for my first pair. See how they come out. But it's quite, I mean, it is quite, I think this is the kind of yarn to do socks with, because it's not that it's boring, but it's not that interesting sometimes, and because you're getting like the colour change. Oh, that's a bit what I dropped. Like, you know, sometimes if you're making something with 3 needles or 4 or whatever, then you like just put the working needle like through it, and I went to start knitting on it last night, and I pulled it out, and I pulled out half a bloody stitches, so that's why there's a drop thing over there, but it's fine. Yeah, so it's quite interesting to see the colour changes as you're knitting. I think that's what makes it exciting. But I love like what I should have done was if I bought 2, then I could have done, because I looked on Ravelry for projects just to see what kind of things people make, because this is what I do, is I buy the yarn and then I'm like, I don't know, I don't know what to do with it. 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 I don't what I'm gonna make with that. And there was like quite a lot of like garter stitch. That colourway looked really good in garter stitch. So see what I have left over. I don't know how much yarn socks take, but I think it's those tiny needles is gonna be the killer, because usually I knit things on, like my Fair Isle's always like 3.5mm. But I mean, it's 4-ply that I usually knit with, so surely it won't take me too long. But that's the plan anyway, is to start making. And then I also bought, because I must have seen it, because I look quite a lot on Instagram, is like the Explore tab, and then you see pictures that's like people that you're friends with, stuff they've commented on, stuff like that. And then there was this one, and it was because I think Stephen West had commented on it, and it was this Quinn fibre, which is in London. And I bought 2. This is kind of a weird one. It didn't look so yellow, like the main colour was like kind of buttery yellow. But that's it. So I want to try and just make, well, I want to have, like I always like having something like colour work or something like that on the go. So I think my plan is just to have something portable and easy that I can pick up. And what I also bought was this. I have been being really good with my yarn buying because I'm quite skint and I need to knit through some of the stuff I've already got. But after Edinburgh again, I wish I had bought some of both Isolde and Rachel Atkinson. Both had yarn, which I never bought when I was there, and regretted it. And then afterwards, I think they both ended up doing a shop update a couple of weeks after Edinburgh, pretty much on the same day, or near enough the same day as each other. So I bought 2 of each, 2 of their yarns, because I thought I was going to buy one, and then I thought, well, you might as well try and get something to make something a bit more substantial. So I got 2 of Isolde's Blend One, which is Merino Polwarthen's Warbles, worsted spun, so it's nice and soft, and it's like a sport weight, which I think I said before I do struggle with, because my work, because we don't make a DK or sport weight, then I can't really get my head around what kind of thickness is, and I also think it's thicker than it is. Yeah, and then so I also got 2 of the Rachel Atkinson stuff, which is Hebridean yarn, and I think because they both came, I think I ordered them both much on the same day, and they both arrived on the same day. There's something like, this is DK weight and this is sport weight, which I think you could definitely use them together. And because this is such a nice light grey, and then this is like a natural, well, it's like Shetland black, the way it's like black but it's brown really. And then so them 2 together to me kind of was quite Faroese looking. So I started looking on Pinterest and stuff for things that were, if you're wondering what this is, by the way, it's a jumper board, but the arm was broken, so I put black tape around it, but it looks kind of sketchy and random in the corner. Yeah, it looked quite Faroese, so I had this idea. I was like, oh, I wonder if it would be enough for like a tank top. So that might be my next thing. And in that vein, I bought this book from the Island Wool Company. Again, I've been being good and not buying books, because I have so many knitting books and I buy so many patterns that I really don't need them. But this is kind of different. It's like a stitch dictionary kind of thing. And obviously I don't talk Faroese, so I ain't gonna try pronounce that. But it's any of the writing in it is Faroese, but there's not just a hell of a lot of writing in it anyway. But it's mostly just like, there's a lot of books like this for Fair Island. It's just to kind of give you ideas. And so I might try and put that together. I don't know if I need to get, I wondered maybe if I needed to get another one of either of them, and I would think it would probably more likely be this. But I also have, because I still have quite a lot, well, I have the colours I didn't need for the Miss Rachel, for Kate Davis's design, then I have like the leftover other colours from the Seven Skeins membership thing. So there's a white which would go nice with them as well. So yeah, that's the plan. And then I also got from that Island Wool Company, they had this, they're like a Navia, like the Faroese yarn stockist. So I bought this pattern book. They weren't very expensive because I thought that was nice. And I'm always looking for yoke patterns and yoke ideas and stuff. I think I've seen that before. I think it was in the Knitter. See, because there's things like that, which is the kind of vibe I think would be nice in a tank top. And I think I would make it like scoop neck. I'd be more likely to wear it. Cute. So that's the plan. I don't know when I'm gonna do that. Might be one of the next things, but I think sometimes putting something together is the tricky bit. You just need to dive in, and then you also get quite precious about when you've bought kind of expensive yarn. But what use is it sitting in a hank? It looks nice, but it's not doing you any good like that. So need to try. And what I also got, which came yesterday from eBay, is I always look for any of the kind of expensive yarns. Just have saved searches on eBay just to see if they ever come up. And so I have like one for Quince and Company and Brooklyn Tweed, like any of the yarn that's kind of tricky to get in the UK. And then what I got was 6 hanks of Chickadee. It's coming at such a grey day that this is cool. It looks a lot more green than it is. In Goldfinch. So I have 6 of these. So I don't know. But what it cost me was so much less than what it would have been to buy it at full price. But then for the same token, if I don't know what I'm going to do with it because it's a kind of random colour, then should you have bought it? I don't know. So I'm trying to think of, I'm looking through a lot of my patterns, and that again, that's Sportweight or DK, so that's throwing me all as usual. And yeah, what else could I tell you about? So for Wool Week then, there's the program's come out, and so I'm doing a talk and 2 classes. And so the talk is I think on the Monday night. I've not checked for a few days, but there was still tickets if you were coming. And I think they probably will stream it again like they did last year for me and Kate's talk. I think they'll probably do that again. And so that I decided, instead of doing it about my vintage knitwear and stuff that I buy, I do it about being a knitter in Shetland at the moment. And I don't, not so much about how it's different, but how it's the same and we still have the same influences, and how it's better, not better, but it's different because you don't have to knit. It's more, I don't know. So, and then my 2 classes, I'm doing 2 classes, but it's the same, both the classes are the same, and it's taking inspiration from vintage knitwear. So that'll be more like an in-depth version of the talk I did last. So I'll have a lot of my stuff with me that people can look at and take photos of, and we can talk about how you can be inspired by vintage knitwear and colour choices and things like that. So one of them has sold out, but again I haven't checked for a while, but there was still spaces on the other class, so if you're coming I would like to see you. And if you don't come to any, then I'll be working at Jimson Smith the whole week and I'll be kicking about, I would think. So that's exciting, but it's getting, like, now it seemed like so far away, like when we were, because March was when like the hat and everything came out, but it was from January, really, over Christmas and the beginning of January, that I was working on it. So it seems like it's like I've been doing it for ages. And so this is now what, June, July, August, September, October, so it's only 4 months away. It's gonna be full on, but it's gonna be good. But well, I'll just get more and more nervous until, but it'll be fine. And oh yeah, so what I was gonna say, for things that I'm kind of enjoying and liking at the moment for my knitting. So what I usually do when I'm knitting is I either listen to podcasts or watch video podcasts. And so for my listened podcasts, mostly my listening ones is like true crime and murder ones and stuff like that. So it's like serial and things like that. I love true crime. And then video ones, I watch a lot of the, I'll have to look up the names of some of them. But that, yeah, I love doing that when I'm knitting, because that kind of gets you into, and it's just good seeing the kind of things people are making. So there was one I subscribed to the other day, which is the Brooklyn Knit Folk. That's a good one. And then The Charm of It, that's another one. And then the Knitting in the City, and Charlotte and Gus, and what other ones? And Mandarins and all of those. Stitch in Sweden, I love that one. I watch that one quite a lot. And there's a new one which is the Gentle Knitter podcast, and that's Nicole, and I met her as well in Shetland. I think that was 2 or 3 years ago as well. She came on one of Gudrun and Mary Jane's tours also, and so she does a lot of sample knitting for Brooklyn Tweed and lots of different places. So I think she's got maybe 3 episodes up, so that I love that. It's really good because she has, like, everything she makes is very I don't know, thoughtful, and a lot of grey things and kind of stuff I like, which you wouldn't think when you look at this random stuff that I've been buying, but usually I'm a very neutral or like Fair Isle kind of thing. So I've been enjoying that, and I'm also really looking forward to Kate Davis's new book, The Book of Haps. So like when she was doing a lot of her research in Shetland, then I met up with her quite a lot, and I just know it's going to be brilliant because everything she does is good, but it's going to be amazing. And I'm trying to think about the first thing I want to make. That's what I'm hoping as well is going to help me get into shawls, and because the hap that Donna Smith has done, she's another Shetlander. She was the Wool Week patron last year, and she's done this triangular shawl with like tree in the Shetland Supreme lace from my work, and it's so nice, so nice. And that it's like the blogs and stuff about her inspirations is so good, because it was inspired by her great auntie who I've met. She like comes into my work and buys wool quite a lot, and like the story and everything behind it is so good that it just, I think it's really nice. And I love, like, Gudrun Johnson has a shawl pattern with trees on it, the Halligarth I think it's called, and I had lots of thoughts about doing that one as well, but Don's one is quite small, quite a small triangular shawl, so I think a bit more reasonable, but I might do it in thicker yarn to get a bigger shawl. I might do that. That would be nice in jumper weight or something. And I'm trying to think, I can't even think now. Anyway, it's going to be really good, and I know a lot of the essays and stuff is going to be amazing, because she does so much research and goes so far into it that I think it's like, I love the one that Kate's done, the Mod or Die, the really big hap shawl, like quite traditional, is amazing. I would never do that just because it's so big, because like I made the half Hansel, Gudrun Johnson's pattern, last year, and see, I'm just not a big purler. If I can avoid it, then I do avoid it, and a lot, like, it puts me off of a lot of patterns. I don't know why, I think I'm really quite slow, so I just much prefer knitting in the round, and or garter stitch. I love garter stitch as well, but obviously not garter stitch in the round, because then you have to purl. So yeah, I'm really looking forward. That should be coming out in the next definitely be in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, so I can't wait to see that. And I also got a copy, I bought a subscription to the Carrie Hodge, the Making zine. I buy nearly all of her, when her ebooks and stuff come out, I nearly all buy them. Even though there's not everything in it that I want to make, it's like her stuff as well. It's very like clean and simple, and she does a lot of garter stitch stuff, and so I do really like her stuff. And this is, which I put a photo up on Instagram when it came, and I was like, oh, so like excited it was here or whatever. There's loads of people in America that were like, I've not got mine yet. But yeah, there's a yoke jumper in here which is just so good. So good. That I think is done in that Chickadee maybe. But there's just loads of stuff. There's like recipes and like flower crowns and stuff. That's so cute. And I think I got, it ended up, because she had I think a kind of offer on the like subscription for early, people buying it early or whatever. So it wasn't too expensive, and I think that bought me two copies, the spring one and then the fall one as well. So I think if you can still get it, and I think I seen you can buy it from Loop London and different places, like it'll be easier accessible now that it's out. So yeah, so I have a lot of things to be going on with at the moment, and I'm just excited to kind of get some of this design and stuff done and out there, and then work on a few things for myself, get back to my selfish knitting, and because I'm a very selfish now. And although this Ian Bairns jumpers, that's the way to go for speed of knitting. It's a lot quicker than making anything for an adult. And yeah, so I've kind of been, now we're getting into summer in theory, not today, but there should be a bit more things happening on the blog and stuff. It's been kind of quiet. When you're doing design and stuff, then you don't really want to share too much in case anything doesn't work out or anything. Yeah, one last thing is I started a group on Ravelry for my designs, which felt like the most fool of yourself thing to do ever. But I just thought I would try it. So I'll probably be doing, once there's some yarn that I'm waiting to come to be launched, then I'm wanting to do maybe a Craft House hat knit along. So if you just search for Elle Gordon Designs on Ravelry in the groups bit, then you can join it there. And there's, I don't know why I kind of started it when I've got a lot of stuff happening that I can't really speak about. Like, I don't know why I started now, but I've started now anyway. And yeah, so if you want to join that, then that should be happening probably end of June. I might start that. So yeah, and you can find me on Instagram, Ella LC Gordon, and I have a Facebook page for Ella Gordon Designs. And then if you just Google Ella Gordon, if you Google Ella Gordon, put Shetland on the end, because there's some Formula 1 driver called Jeff Gordon, and his daughter's called Ella, and there's like loads of stuff about her. And then there's also a sexual health clinic in England which is called the Ella Gordon Unit, which is great, and really what you want associated with your name when you're trying to be a knitting person. Yeah, so you can find my blog there, and yeah, I'll be back soon, and thank you for watching.